Hey, what is up you guys? Zero here. Welcome back to yet another Lorcana video. We are here with the last tier list for Shimmering Skies. We are doing Steel. I can already see the finish line. It has been quite a ride getting this done. But you know, let's just get into it. I want this to be done and we can welcome Shimmering Skies. I mean, Shimmering Skies has been out for about roughly a week now, so I hope you guys have been enjoying. But if you wanted my first opinions on some of these Steel cards, then actually I haven't really touched Shimmering Skies yet. I haven't opened any cards, so we're still going in kind of more or less fresh. So yeah, let's just get into it and get this done and over with. We are starting with Stitch, Team Underdog, 4 costs, uninkable, 1/4 that lures for 1. Ability, when you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to chosen character. Yeah, I mean, dealing damage to characters, not too bad, but I really don't like the stat line. I don't like that he's uninkable. I don't think he'll see very much play. Maybe if it's relevant to deal damage. I know the Robin Hood deck will like that. But still, kind of an expensive card, doesn't lure, low stats. I'm going to say D tier off the top of my head. Pinging for 2 is kind of not bad though, so maybe I'm wrong here, but just looking at it like right now, especially the unink ability hurts a lot, but yeah, I'm going to start with D tier. Next up, we have the first legendary from Steel. It's Jafar, the Tyrannical Hypnotist. He is a 6 cost inkable card. He's 0/7 that lures for 2, and he has Challenger +7 with the ability Intimidating Gaze. Opposing characters with cost 4 or less can't challenge. Honestly, I don't really know how to feel about this card. I mean, so his stats are interesting. He's essentially 7/7 while challenging, and opposing characters can't challenge him back, so he's kind of like very similar to Captain Hook. We have a Flipborn Hook that has like, I think, what was it, like 2 or 3 costs or lower can't challenge him. So yeah, definitely interesting. I don't think it's very good though, just off the top of my head. Like, well, for one, like Madame Medusa will hit him because he has Challenger +7. He doesn't actually have 7 strength, so he is weak to that. And I don't know, he's just kind of weird because it seems like you want to be challenging all the time because like he's, you know, 7/7 body essentially, and he can't really get hit back by lower, so he's kind of safe in that respect where he won't be like taken out by a bunch of little guys in return for free. But still, whatever will take him out will probably do it for free since he will have 0 strength in retaliation. But he also lures for 2, so it's like, should you be luring with him? I mean, that's an option, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really see this seeing play just off the top of my head. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe I'm thinking too specifically about him. So I'll put him in C tier. I want to kind of put him in D tier, but for now, I'll put him in C tier. He's probably going to be near the bottom though until I change my mind, I guess. But yeah, let's just start there. Steel is not starting off in a great spot from the first 2, but moving on. Next, we have Simba, the Lost Prince. We have yet another Simba card. 3 cost inkable, 2/4 that lures for 1. Ability Face the Past during your turn. Whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card. The effect is interesting. It's not actually that great, but I know in like sealed released events, stuff like that, where you have limited cards, I think this will be a really good card, just because the 2/4 stat line means it'll take out a lot of the like 1s and 2 costs like pretty easily, and you just get to draw a card whenever you banish another character. It's not too bad, but in Constructed, I think there's just way too many other options that this isn't really reliable, like drawing off of banishing. I mean, we've seen effects like that before, and they don't see much play. At least we have a Floodborn Queen of Hearts in Ruby. At least that one spreads to the rest of your characters, so there's a little more playability there. But yeah, right now I would say also C tier, above the Jafar. But yeah, we have a couple of vanillas. So first we have Rudy, the Groove Disruptor. He's just a 2/2 that lures for 1. You know where these go, it's going to be center C tier. So I'll put it under the Simba, but above the Jafar. That's kind of how I feel right now. We follow that with the Royal Guard. He is a 4 cost inkable, 1/7 that lures for 1. Also a vanilla. The stats is about average. It's actually almost exactly average for a vanilla. We haven't really seen the 1.7, I don't think, if I believe correctly, or maybe we've seen a 1.7 or something, but it's about how much a 4 cost should be. I'm going to put it under Rudy just because I think 1 cost 2/2 is more playable than a 4 cost 1.7. Next we have Mickey Mouse the Food Fight Defender. He's a 1 cost inkable 1/2 that lures for 1 with resist +1. He's more or less kind of a vanilla. I do like his stats though, and something to think about is the Mickey Mouse Sorcerer, the one that's in Steel, the one that's a Floodborn that does damage off of brooms. That thing shifts off of this pretty well. It's better than I think the other Mickey Mouse that they got. It's like the flag bearer Mickey Mouse that he normally shifts off right now. So this could be really good in brooms, or this could just be good in any deck that wants to run that sorcerer, because you don't necessarily have to do brooms. You can maybe just run the aerial cleaner and then use that. So like play this on 1, on turn 2 play broom aerial cleaner, and then turn 3 you drop Mickey Mouse and he pings something. So that's an option. I don't hate this card. I think it's better than the others so far. I would put it tentatively low B tier. It's probably more realistically a high C tier card, but yeah, as of right now we've seen a lot of not so good cards, so maybe that propels it into B tier for now. But yeah, we will revisit. Moving on, we have Sleepy the Sluggish Knight. In this set we have yet another set of dwarves and a Snow White, and these ones are going to be in Steel, and they have a night theme going, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, he is a 7 dwarf, he is a knight. His ability is just Bodyguard. He's a 2 cost 0/4 that lures for 1 that has Bodyguard. The stats leave something to be desired, I think. He's not too great. We'll have to see with the synergies how he actually stacks up, but as of right now, probably I'd say above the vanillas at least. It's not great, but with the synergies, like, you know, maybe it's more playable than them. Moving on though, we have Kronk. He's a 2 cost inkable 1/4 that lures for 1. He is just a challenger +1, so kind of more or less a vanilla again. But yeah, he's essentially a 2 cost that challenges as a 2/4. It's not bad. I think it's better than vanillas again, but questionable how much better. The stat line is kind of good, but still probably not so playable in most situations, in constructed at least. So as of right now, I think I'll put it above Sleepy. I like it, his stats more than Sleepy is, but Sleepy has more synergy probably, but still, even with the synergies, I'm not sure if I will be playing Sleepy. I guess if I'm struggling to see a 2 cost like 7 Dwarf Knight, then that will do better, then I would play him, but still, yeah, I don't know, I'll put Kronk there for now. Next we have Heihei, the Protective Rooster. He's a 5 cost inkable 4/5 that lures for 2, and he has Bodyguard. So if I remember correctly, the 5 cost line has normally I've seen a 4/5 that lures for 2. I think we've seen that several times already as vanillas, so he just has an added Bodyguard stat on top of it. So I think it's already better than just vanillas. Do I like it better than the Kronk? Do I like it better than the Sleepy? Kind of. Honestly, not too bad. Like, I can see playability here because especially like blue steel, you know, we love our 5 costs, and you give us a Bodyguard here that can actually lure, and it has a 5 behind it, maybe playable, because we were already playing like Qianpo. A lot of blue steel players were playing Qianpo, but given Qianpo has more health attached to him, so maybe that's more playable than this Rooster. But you know, it's something to consider, and he looks funny, so give him extra points for that. You know, maybe I will give him extra points. I think I'm gonna bump him. Honestly, I feel like he's because of that blue steel comment, like I kind of want to put him above this Mickey. I'll put him above this Mickey. I think in the long run he'll still be bottom of B tier as long as we have better cards, but we'll consider bottom of B tier here. And yeah, moving on. Next we have Sneezy, the 4 cost inkable 3/4 that lures for 1 ability. When you play this character, chosen knight character gains challenger +2 this turn. If you combine this, because the 7 dwarves aren't the only knights we have. We have like the Cinderella knight line. We have several other knight lines too, so this is maybe more playable than we think. The stats for a 4 cost is alright. It could be better. It's not too amazing in the long run, I think. Better than vanilla? Yeah, I think so. I will kindly put him, I think, above the Sneezy, but still, yeah, I think we're gonna have to look at it a little more. I want to see all the knights obviously before I make like a group judgment, but yeah, moving on. Speaking of other knights, we have the 3-cost Inkable 2/2 Dopey, the Knight Apprentice. He lures for 1, and the ability is when you play this character, if you have another knight character in play, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character or location. Ping effects are nice. Dopey's stats aren't great though for a 3-cost. Throughout, I don't like the stats of these 7 dwarves. I feel like they could have given us a little more. But yeah, a 2/2 for a 3-cost. I mean, this is stats of a 1-cost, so the effect should be able to make up for that, and it kind of doesn't. A ping is nice, definitely. A ping is always nice, but I'm not liking Dopey, I don't think. I think I'm gonna put him under Jafar. And you know, looking at these, like maybe Jafar is a little better than we thought, but I might change him later. Moving on though, before we go backwards, we have Namaari. She is the 9-cost uninkable of this color for this set, with the ability to reduce her cost, of course. She's a 5/5 that lures for 3. She has resist +3, which is very, very nice. Her ability is for each opposing character banished in a challenge this turn, you pay 2 less to play this character. So the problem with this card is she's harder to get into play than the other 9-costs, I think. Like we have the Sheriff of Nottingham and Sapphire. I think dropping a lot of items is super easy, that you can bring his cost down pretty quickly. You know, Gaston is just, you know, how much, what was it, damage characters you have, something like that. It's everything else is easier. Like the Kristoff, you know, is how many songs in your discard. I feel like it's all easier than Namaari. Namaari is a little difficult because they say specifically that you have to banish the characters in a challenge. So maybe if you have some kind of challenging deck going on, which, you know, like Ruby still has been trying to get going for a while, they've just been struggling with card draw, and hopefully, you know, with Bucky gone, that is less of a problem now. We can start seeing like Ruby Steel challengers start coming out again. But still, even in that case, it is like similar to the Robin Hood, it is reliant on your opponents having cards, and then not only that, we have to be banishing them, so they have to be turned. It's just harder. It's harder to get out. I would say not as good as the other 9-cost uninkables. Kind of similar to Olaf. Olaf struggles the same way she does, where it's reliant on the opposing characters. So I'll put her above the Simba, because I feel like the Simba is good in the case of like sealed, those kind of events, and Namaari kind of also is good in those scenarios because, you know, we have less problems with removal and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, she could be better. Yeah, also again, you know, more liable to removal. She doesn't have wards like Robin Hood does. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna leave her there and move on. Next we see Snow White. This is the card that is supposed to round all the dwarves up and make them good, hopefully. But she's a 5-cost uninkable 3/5 that lures for 3. Her ability is that she gains resist +1 for each other knight character you have in play. Not bad. She's not bad, I'll give her that much. But the problem is, you know, I hate to say it, but the 3 attack makes her weak to Madame Medusa. Not only that, just any straight up removal. Having this as the boss character of the dwarves, it's not enough. I don't think it's not enough to get the dwarves going, because the dwarves, like, they either have to have enough synergy with each other to, like, you know, bounce off of each other enough to get going, or this character has to be good enough to justify playing all the dwarves together. But yeah, I don't think this does it. It's not a bad card though. I will say it is top of B tier as of right now, until we see more cards, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you know, in like friendly games, this will definitely be a monster. If you have enough dwarves and knights out, this card can have, you know, resist 4, 5, 6, and then she's like untouchable as long as you don't remove her straight out. But as we know, she is able to be removed, so maybe if you can give her ward or something like that. But the only consistent target that gives that to her would be an Aurora. But I mean, she's a princess. Maybe you got some princess knight thing going on. I mean, that would be a cute deck idea. But yeah, meta relevancy, maybe not too great. But I mean, it's not a bad card. It could be better though. And the problem with a boss character of an archetype, it's got to be more than, you know, just okay. So yeah, as of right now, that's where we're gonna put her. Next we have Yzma, the 4-cost uninkable 1/4 that lures for 2 with her ability during your turn. Whenever one of your characters banishes a character in a challenge, you may deal 1 to chosen character. She's so very specific and she's so very uninkable that and she's 1/4. I don't know what it is about Lorcana this set. They really like the 1/4 stat line, and it just looks really gross to me for all these like, you know, higher cost characters. And she's 4 costs and she's uninkable, so her like ability has to be like out of this world for me to want to play her. It's nice that she lures for 2, but she's so like fragile. And her ability isn't honestly that great. You have to challenge or not challenge, or whenever, yeah, you have to challenge because your character, or no, it's any of your characters banishes a character. So I guess if they have an effect like Maleficent Dragon, that would count, I assume. But still, it's just you get to deal 1 damage after that. It's not good enough, not in my opinion. I'm gonna put bottom of D tier. Yeah, maybe I'm missing something, but just off the bat, looking at her, that is kind of what I'm feeling right now. Moving on though, we have Kronk, the head of security, 6/6, that lures for 1. He is a 7 cost uninkable. He is a Floodborn, so he shifts for 5, but his ability is during your turn when this character banishes another character in a challenge. We gotta banish a character in a challenge again. You may play a character with cost 5 or less for free. Not bad in sealed events, I don't think. I mean, it depends. It's still a high cost uninkable. He needs to banish in a challenge, which means they have to turn for you, usually, unless you have something like, you know, pick a fight or something to get this guy going. But even then, the play effect that you get, because you get to play a character who costs 5 or less for free, I feel like once you get this Kronk out, it's like, that's already not gonna matter too much. Like, you don't really need to play a character who costs 5 or less for free at that point, if that makes sense. Because if you're playing a sealed event, which I think this would make the most sense in, you are already kind of short on cards. Like, playing cards for free isn't too amazing, especially because like if you're already up to this ink, like you can just play 1 per turn on your own. Like, no need to overextend like that. That's my thoughts at least. And thinking about Constructed 2, I can't imagine a scenario where I would like to play this. You would also have to like shift him. It's just awkward. I think basically the benefits of this card don't outweigh the negatives. So I'm also gonna put him in the bottom. I like him more than Yzma, probably more than Stitch. No, less than Stitch. Stitch is more playable because he's like a lower cost that, you know, can ping like kind of more freely. That's kind of, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna put him right there. Next up, we have Grumpy the Skeptical Knight. He's a 3 cost inkable 3/1 that lures for 1 with the ability while one of your knight characters is at a location, that character gains resist +2. And he's also evasive on your turn, so he can take out evasive. So I mean, if you're doing you know, like a knight character deck of some sort, not the worst. We'll see the you know, the 7 Dwarfs have a location that they can go to, but you probably want more than that, so it's got to be some kind of like location intensive deck too. So some kind of like, probably whenever I think location, I think Ruby, obviously. So Ruby Steel with locations and Knight synergy, I don't know, something weird like that. But I mean, the resist +2 would be nice. This would take out, you know, Diablos really nicely. Yeah, I mean, if you can get the effect up, but the effect is so hyper specific that I don't think it's that great. I still think it's above the other dwarves at least, so I'm gonna put him above Sneezy. And yeah, let's just move on from there. Next, we have 3 cost uninkable Pete the Wrestling Champ, 1/3 that lures for 1. Ability repeat. Okay, this one was hilarious when I saw it. If you exert him, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character named Pete, you play it for free. That's hilarious. There's some good Petes you could hit, I guess. There's the Pete and Emerald. That's a 5 cost. The one that lures for more if he has more strength. There's obviously in Ruby we have the big Pete, the Steamboat Pete now. Yeah, I mean, some okay targets. The problem is you're gonna have to like to play a heavy Pete deck to get this going, and it's kind of random what is gonna come up next. So yeah, it's kind of awkward. He's also uninkable. It's, you know, I mean, you could swing really hard. It seems like a really memey deck though. I'm gonna put him in D tier. I mean, in the future, you know, we're gonna get more Petes and they're gonna get crazier. I think I'll put him above Kronk. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I don't really see it, so we're gonna leave him there for now. I mean, Steel is not looking good. We haven't seen crazy characters come out yet, at least. But next we have 7 cost uninkable Sir Ector, the Castle Lord. 7/10 that lowers for 3. He is vanilla. He is another character that is vanilla but uninkable, so it makes up with it for more stats. I feel like this one is a little bit more unplayable though. It's really heavy. He is huge, and he has big stats to make up for it, but I don't like these just because the removal will hit so hard, and I already just don't like justifying playing uninkable like vanilla cards. So as of now, I think below the regular vanilla is probably below Jafar, even below Dopey, I think. Yeah, but still C tier, I think. But yeah, I don't know, not too sure about that one. Looking at him though, I kind of want to bump Stitch up. Like I feel like now I don't think Stitch is that bad, but yeah, I mean, do I still put it below the Jafar? Maybe. What about Dopey? I think above Dopey. All right, I've changed my mind. Stitch goes up to C tier. But yeah, moving on, we have Bashful. Is this the last dwarf? I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more. But Bashful is a 4 cost inkable 3/4 that lures for 1 ability. While you have a character named Snow White in play, this character gains Bodyguard. A 4 cost 3/4 with Bodyguard. I feel like we can do better. I don't know. This one's not good. This one's probably the worst one. I'm gonna put him top of D tier. Maybe even under the Pete, but at least he has Knight synergy, at least he has 7 Dwarf synergy, but no, he's not great. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, it also needs Snow White to get the Bodyguard. I don't know, it's kind of, yeah, whatever. Moving on. Next we have Arthur. He's a 2 cost vanilla, 2/2 that lowers for 2. He can shift into our Floodborn Arthur, which we will look at, but 2 costs, 2/2 lowers for 2, not bad for vanilla stats. I like it above the regular vanillas. I probably like it above these guys too, like the Dwarves. Yeah, I think it's more playable than them. Probably more playable than Kronk too. Yeah, I'm gonna put him over there, especially since he has a Floodborn target. But you know, 2/2 that lowers for 2 is already a good stat line, I think. So yeah, we'll leave him up there. We do have another Dwarf, and I think I see one more after this, but we have Happy, the 1 cost inkable 2/1 that lowers for 1. During your turn, this character gains evasive. Nice. I mean, it is, I think specifically, I like it can take out Diablo, which is very, very nice. And the stats are nice. Having the 7 dwarf stuff isn't bad either. Probably the best of the dwarves, I want to say. I like him better than all the other dwarves. So I will put him, I think, top of C tier. He just, may be playable. If Diablo is still crazy, he's not even a bad, like, outside of dwarves. Like, he might even be playable then. I might put him, yeah, low B tier maybe. Yeah, I mean, like, he's more, okay, here's the thing. I'll put him higher up just because I feel like he's more playable. No, maybe not than Heihei, but I feel like he's more playable than the Mickey. Hard to say. Hard to say because these two have, like, their specific things, you know. This, like I was saying, in Blue Steel might like it. This, because he's a good shift target, into the Sorcerer, Steel Sorcerer Mickey. I actually like this more than Heihei, and something like this maybe. Yeah, I think this is, I mean, they're kind of the same. I'm always running into this issue where, like, things that are close to each other, I'm trying to decide which one's above the other. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this one there for now and move on. Next we have Simba, the son of Mufasa. He's a Floodborn. We finally get a Floodborn Simba after 2 million Simbas. We see one that's a Floodborn, but he is a 6 cost inkable 3/5 that lowers for 1. He shifts for 4 with the ability when you play this character, you may banish chosen item or location. Very nice. It's an option for Steel to take out locations that's not Rise of the Titans. So probably playable over Rise of the Titans. I mean, he is kind of expensive, but he is able to be shifted. We have a lot of tiny Simbas he can shift onto. It isn't, again, for Blue Steel, it is an option. I kind of like Cusco better, but this is not a bad option, I think. Stat line's okay, not bad, but I like that he's a body on top of the Rise of Titans effect, and yeah, I don't know, I think he's okay. I will say A tier. Definitely better than all the cards we've seen so far, I think. Just because we love location hate. It's just so hard to deal with Queen's Castle, and you know, probably some of the other coming up locations we're gonna have problems with. So having a forced location removal is good, and this one is in Steel, so you don't have to dip into Sapphire for, like, reliable. Location removal, I mean, Steel has always had good location removal, but this one is tied to a body, so we love that. Moving on, I think this is the last dwarf, is Doc. He's a 2-cost uninkable 1/3 that lords for 1 ability. When you play this character, you may discard your hand to draw 2. Not bad. I don't think it's bad. It's probably better than the other dwarves, again, just because, like, if you have no cards in your hand, you are just drawing 2. So there are some situations where that might happen, especially if you're playing some kind of like 7 dwarf deck. You're going to be emptying your hand a lot. It's all going to be on the field, right? So this is probably drawing you a lot of cards. It's probably not as usable as the Amber Doc, just because that is more applicable to like throughout. Oh, I mean, this might be good also in like some aggro, like hyper aggro style decks, because you're emptying your hand and then you get to draw 2 after that. You know, he doesn't really put much pressure on the board though, but I mean, yeah, not bad. We love card draw. Probably better than the other dwarves. I will say top of C tier. Do I think low B tier? No, I think top of C tier is good for it. So yeah, the dwarves are still like middling down here. I don't think, I mean, it's cute. It's a cute idea, and now we can do like Amber Steel like dwarves, because like Amber has the dwarves, and we have the Snow White and Amber that will lower all the cost of the dwarves, so that makes them a little bit better. But yeah, still probably just not going to be a very meta intensive deck, but you know, it's at least they're getting some support. We might see like more people playing them. Next is the big bad legendary Arthur, King Victorious, a 3/6 that lords for 3. He is a Floodborn, he shifts for 5, and his abilities when you play this character, a chosen character gains Challenger +2 and Resist +2, and can challenge ready characters this turn. I actually really like this ability. I like it a lot. It helps with a Challenger style deck where you want to challenge things like with, you know, Super Goof or stuff like that that can gain lore or draw cards off challenging, stuff like that. This enables it. It is an on-play effect, which helps. He lures for 3, which is a threat. He does die to Madame Medusa. We always have to say that about these high-cost characters, where if their stats are low enough to get hit by that, we should mention it. But the fact that he is an on-play effect helps. The fact that he shifts 5 helps, because if you're going first, it'll take some time for Medusa to hit the board, if they're not ramping, of course. But yeah, I really don't think it's a bad card. I will also say A tier. I'll probably put it under the Simba just because I like the chosen location card, but I honestly don't think it's a bad card. I think it will enable a lot to happen. Moving on, we have Pete, the game's referee. Everyone is talking about this card. He's a 3-cost inkable 3/3 that lords for 1 with the ability when you play this character, your opponent can't play actions until the start of your next turn. I think it is overhyped personally. I think everyone's going crazy about this card, but it's not as crazy as people think. That being said, I still think it's an S tier card. The reason is, when I think about cards in S tier, I think about cards that your opponent always has to be thinking about. Like, they always have to be worrying about you having these cards in your hand. They have to be considering it while they're playing. So it's like something like, okay, I'm playing against Blue Steel right now. Just gotta remember they have this Pete. Gotta remember they have Cusco. Like, stuff like that is in the back of their mind, of at least good players. So basically, my S tier is going to be like cards you want to think about once you know the colors that your opponent are playing, right? So that's kind of my consideration right now. So that's why I'm putting him up here. I do think he's a bit overblown. I don't think he's going to be as broken as people say. It is a nice effect. It is very usable, but I think it's kind of like, you know, we have Emerald Ursula, which hits songs. Like, playing that card skillfully was like, you know, like you can take out grab your swords before they can play it. You can take out be prepared before they play it. This is kind of similar. This is like a bit worse because it doesn't make them discard it, but it does hit all actions, so that you know, it covers a wider blanket. But it's a temporary ceasefire kind of thing, so it's not amazing, but you know, something to consider. Is really good to have. I love this card because, like, you know, if I'm playing Blue Steel, I can do something like I can drop Ariel or Belle and I can play this card next to it, and then you probably can't remove them for this turn because, you know, you can't play actions, and it's, if they're ready, it's hard to take them out. That kind of gives more merit to Arthur too. It gives you an option to take someone out when they play this Pete. At least your Arthur can still prime something to take out whatever they're trying to protect, because Pete is probably going to come down to protect something. unless you're playing like Amethyst Steel and you can bounce him a lot. You don't want to be wasting this card when we know that your opponent's, you know, just going to play a character anyway or anything like that. But yeah, I still think it's a really, really good card, but yeah, again, not as overblown as everyone is saying. Moving on, we are going to the actions. The first one we see is Tug-of-War, a 5-cost inkable action with the ability choose 1, deal 1 to opposing characters without evasive, or deal 3 to opposing characters with. I wish that they didn't say choose 1, at least then this might be a little bit more playable. As of right now though, we don't like it. Thing to note though is if a widely evasive deck enters the meta where, like, you know, evasives become a big threat, this might be a good one of add into any steel deck just to, you know, get rid of them. I mean, this card is inkable, so that's something to consider, but I wish it didn't say choose 1, so at least it'll, you know, if they have a bunch of evasive and non-evasives, it'll take out all the evasives and just ping everything else. That's, you know, that's like playable in like a Robin Hood deck or whatever wants to be pinged, stuff like that. But as of right now, I'll stay top of D tier. Next we have a song, When Will My Life Begin. It's a 3-cost inkable song. Ability, chosen character can't challenge during their next turn, you draw a card. It's cute. If you play it in sealed or something, I think it's playable. I mean, it's nice, but I don't think it's tempo enough for a 3-cost song. So as of right now, I'll also put it, I think, in D tier, maybe C tier, but I'll put it in D tier above the Tug-of-War. It's too slow. It doesn't do anything really, I don't think. Like, you can stall one character for a turn, but it's just stalling them from challenging, not anything else. So yeah, next we have Duck for Cover, an action. It's a 2-cost inkable. Chosen character gains resist +1 and evasive this turn. Very weird because it's like more offensive of a card. I don't know why it's called Duck for Cover. It's really cute though. I love the art for sure. But yeah, is it great? Again, it's like if there's no evasive in the meta, I don't see the point. Even then, like these kind of actions that give you like temporary stats, so far, like a lot of them don't really see play. The ones that will draw you at least a card are at least a little playable because they replace themselves, but you know, I don't see myself playing this as a card when I have so many other options to take out evasives. So I'm gonna put it a bit lower in D tier, I think. I will say below below Kronk, above Yzma though. I really don't like Yzma, but yeah, moving on. We have Food Fight, a 1-cost uninkable action. Abilities, your characters gain Exert, and for 1 cost you deal 1 damage to chosen character this turn. It's not as bad as it looks, just because, I mean, if you're trying to do a Robin Hood deck, you probably want this just as an option to ping everything. It's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. I think at least there's that playability there. Or if you really need to remove things, like you're having troubles with evasives or whatever, at least for that 1 turn, as long as you have characters on the board, that's the only caveat, and they will be used in this cost. They have to exert, and you have to pay an additional to deal 1. So it's not great. It's really not great, but it's not bad. I would say it's probably above probably not above the Stitch. I'll put it above Dopey though. Yeah, I think that's kind of where it lies, but yeah, I mean, you could do a big swing turn with this, where, you know, you use it, all your characters ping things, and then you like put out like Robin Hood or something, right? So like, you know, the 9-cost uninkable Robin Hood, something like that is an option. So yeah, I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll have to test, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about it right now. Next, we're on to items. A 1-cost inkable Shield of Arendelle item. With the ability, you banish this item. Chosen character gains resist +1 until the start of your next turn. It's cute, but I don't think it's that playable. It is a low-cost item, so if you're doing some kind of item-heavy deck, maybe this is worth adding. But as of right now, its effect isn't that crazy. I'll say bottom of C tier. But yeah, I mean, you can like pitch it for Harem and stuff, so something to think about. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna be playing it. We also have Plate Armor, the 4-cost uninkable item. Ability, exert this card, and a chosen character gains resist +2 until the start of your next turn. It's not bad. It is uninkable though. It's gonna. We have a bunch of items like this already, where, you know, you gain resist or you gain extra stats on exert, and we haven't really seen them being played. This one's more expensive. This one is uninkable. I think a few of them are also uninkable, but I don't think it's worth it. I'll say top of D tier. But you know, maybe we'll find some use for it. Maybe like, and again, item heavy decks would probably like this, but it would also have to be character intensive probably. So yeah, not too sure. We're gonna leave it there for now though. And the last of the items we have is the 6 cost uninkable Steel Chromicon, the most expensive of the Chromicons it looks like. With the ability Steel Light, you exert this card and you deal 1 damage to chosen character. This is kind of nice. So we have from set 1 the Plasma Blaster. It costs 3, also uninkable, but it costs 2 every time you want to deal 1 damage. So this will probably be better in a deck that like probably like, you know, Robin Hood or something like that. If you want to constantly be pinging, in the long run it'll cost less than that Plasma Blaster, so something to think about. I don't think it's a bad card, but yeah, having a readily available ping is kind of nice. You kind of have to worry about item removal though, of course, but I mean, I think it's a little playable. I like it more than a lot of these dwarves, I think, at least. So I'm gonna put it above the dwarves. Yeah, maybe under the Kronk, but I mean, I feel like I've underjudged items and stuff like this before, just because they're like high cost and uninkable. But you know, decks like that will probably really want to use it. So I'll, you know, maybe even better than I'm putting right now. I have hopes for this to do better. I don't think it's a bad effect. So yeah, I'll leave it there, but probably higher, maybe anywhere close to like low B tier, somewhere there. But yeah, now we are on the locations. We are nearing the end here. Our first one is Bad-Anon, the Villain Support Center. It has 7 willpower. It costs 2 to move here with the ability villain characters gain exert. Cost 3, play a character with the same name as this character for free while here. This is just so hyper specific, and it's so expensive. This card is so expensive. It's 3 cost to play, 2 every time you want to move here, and cost 3 every time you want to activate it, and it has to be villains. I don't know. Like, you have to play it with Ruby because you need the ability to move here for free, I think, or else it's just way too expensive to make sense. Like, at that point, you might as well just play whatever villain you're thinking of. But yeah, no, that's kind of my thoughts right now. I'm trying to think of like characters that could benefit from this. We have the new Gaston in because I'm thinking specifically in Ruby Steel, because I feel like you have to do Ruby Steel if you're gonna do something like this. So it has to be a location kind of deck. You want like the big Gaston that costs 9 uninkable. There's the big Namaari, you know, you can use the little Namaari. There's so many uninkables too though. It's just so specific. I'm sure something could work, but just thinking about it makes my head hurt. I'll say low D tier, I think. Probably, yeah, no, I mean, probably above the Duck for cover, but it's just so hard to use correctly. It lures for 1 every turn, which is nice. Like, they have to deal with it, I guess, but yeah, I don't see this ability going off, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there for now. And last but not least, we have the 2 cost inkable 7 Dwarves Mine. This is the location the dwarves want to be at. It has 6 willpower. It costs 2 to move here, and the ability is during your turn, the first time you move a character here, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. If the move character is a knight, deal 2 instead. This is pretty nice, even outside of even if you're not using knights, at least you get the ping every time you move here. At least your characters aren't exerting to a ping. So I'd say it's even better than all the cards that have been needing like characters to exert the ping at the very least. It is expensive to move here. I don't think it's like necessarily required to play this with Ruby, because while I've been making that excuse for all the other locations that cost 2 to move, at least this one is doing something actively. It's dealing 1 or 2 damage. 2 damage is super nice. So if you are playing knights, I mean, this is pretty nice to have in your deck. But like the Robin Hood deck, I think will also like this. You don't even have to play the knights. I mean, you could play the knights, but even without them, at least you're pinging, at least you're damaging things. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. It also lures for 1. If the willpower is a little low, but I mean, when it comes down on 2, I don't think it's too bad. I will say B tier. I'll say high B tier. I'll say above the Snow White. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Am I gonna change anything else? I've realized in my other tier list that I forgot to go back and reevaluate, but I mean, looking at it, I think it's fine. Makes sense to me. But yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there. This is gonna be the final tier list, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have been watching all the tier lists, like, thank you. At least you're putting my effort to good use. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this has been showing you, you know, like the cards. At least you're learning like what the cards do at the very least. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. Actually, let me know. I'm very interested. I would like to know if you disagree, because I feel like I learn more when that happens. I get to think about like what I thought of, and if I was wrong, and if I was wrong, I can reevaluate. But yeah, I mean, that's happened a couple times already. So yeah, anyway, I'm digressing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these tier lists. Yeah, let me know if you want to see more. If you want me to see me do these for like other sets, I might do a more compressed versions or stuff, because this really took a lot out of me. But no, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please definitely like the video, definitely subscribe, let me know, so you know I know what kind of content you guys like, so I know what to put out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.